We are working on the reteaching page of topic 2-6. If you need some time to find that page, make sure you pause the video and restart it once you're ready. Estimating sums. The students at your school are saving cereal box tops. Fruit and Crunch, they've saved 136 box tops. Brand Swirls, they have 152 box tops. About how many box tops have the students saved? Now you could go through and you could add them up, but the key here is that the word about. See that word about? That means it does not want you to simply add the numbers to find the sum. The directions are asking for an estimate. So when you find about how many, again, about how many, you estimate. Estimate by rounding each end, then add the rounded numbers. So in the first example, rounding around to the nearest 10. 136 to the nearest 10. The 3 is in the 10 spot. We're going to look to the number to the right. So I'm going to circle the number to the right to see how it is rounded. The number to the right is 6. That is 5 or more. 5 or more. The 3 goes up to the 4. The 6 becomes a 0 and you get 140. The 5 is in the tens place. I'm going to circle the 2. 2 is 4 or less. So the 5 stays the same as it did here, and the 2 becomes a 0. So rounding to the nearest 10, we got 140 plus 150, which is a lot easier to add. 0 plus 0 is 0, 4 plus 5 is 9, and 1 plus 2 is 2. The students have saved about 290 box tops. Let's try it with the nearest 100. Round to the nearest 100. Well, the hundreds place, let's underline that on both the numbers. We're going to look at the number to its right. Let's go ahead and circle those numbers. That'll help us to remember what we're going to look at. 3 is 4 or less. So the 1 stays the same and all the other numbers are 0. 5 is 5 or more. So the 1 is going to go up 1. And all the rest of the numbers are 0. We can easily add 100 and 200 to get 300. The students have saved about 300 box tops. For the next part, I am going to get out my scratch paper. And I think you should have scratch paper too. Because when you are going to be rounding first, you might have to write it down. If you can do it in your mind, then that's great. But some of you might have to write it down. So let's look at the first one. 42 plus 98. Do you see a difference in the way it was written compared to the examples up above? The examples up above were stacked. It might make it easier for us if we followed that format. In the directions, it says round to the nearest 10 to estimate each sum. So I underlined the tens place. If I don't remember, I could draw a diagram up here and write it down so I can H for hundreds, T for tens, and zeros for ones. And I could put the numbers in to help me remember where they go. All the little tricks that you can do to help yourself. We're going to look at the number to the right. 4, we're going to look at the 2. It's 4 and below, so the 4 stays the same. And the 2 becomes a 0. The 8 is 5 or more. That makes the 9 go up by 1. it becomes a 2-digit number. It's a 10. And the 8 stays the same, approximately. 42 is approximately 40 when rounded to the nearest 10. 98 is approximately 100 when rounded to the nearest 10. Now we can easily add those together. What is 40 plus 100? You are right, 140. Go ahead and try number 2 and number 3 on your own. Stop the video and come back when you're finished. Number 2, 36 plus 59. We're rounding again to the nearest 10, so underline the tens. Circle the number to its right. 6 is 5 or above, so the 3 becomes 4, and the 6 is a 0. 9 is 5 and above, so the 5 becomes 6, and the 9 is a 0. 40 plus 60 is 100. Number 3, 288 plus 475. Again, we're still doing to the tens place. So we're going to underline the tens place and circle the number to its right. And then we simply follow our rules. 8 is 5 or above, so that makes the 8 in the tens place go up by 1 number. The 2 stays the same, and the circled number becomes a 0. Do the same thing with 475. The 5 is 5 or more, which makes the 7 go up by 1, and the 5 becomes a 0. And any number to the left of our place value is the same. So now we have 290 plus 480. 0 plus 0 is 0. 9 plus 8 is 17. And 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. Go ahead and work on number 4 through 6 by yourself, making sure you stop the video here until you're finished and restart the video once you're finished so we can discuss the answers. Now our directions are round to the nearest 100. 378, number 4, plus 136. We're going to underline the hundredths place and circle the number directly to its right. We want to round the 3 in the hundred, so we look at the 7. It is 5 or more, so that makes the 3 change to 4, and all numbers to the right are 0. 136, we're going to change the place value in the hundreds, so we're looking at the tens. It is 4 and below, so the 1 in the hundreds place stays the same, and all numbers on the right become 0. 400 plus 100 is 500. Number 5, 436 plus 309. Still working on the hundreds, so we underline the hundreds place, circle the number to the right, which happens to be the tens place. 3 is 4 and below, so the 4 stays the same, and all numbers to the right get zeros. 0 is 4 and below, so the 3 stays the same, and all numbers to the right are 0. 400 plus 300 is 700. And number 6. Now this one's a little bit tricky because it's wanting you to round to the nearest 100. But look, we don't have anything in the 100 spot in the first number, which is 76. I wonder what that's going to cause. But we can do the same thing. We underlined a blank space. We circled the number to the right of the line, and then we ask our questions. 7 is 5 or more, so it makes the underlined number go up by 1. When there's a blank in math, what is it the same as? Yeah, it's the same as 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1, and all other numbers are 0. We look at the 8, it is 5 or more. That makes the 4 a 5. All numbers are 0, and our answer is 100 plus 500, or 600. Go ahead and finish number 7 on your own and bring it with you tomorrow to class, and we will discuss the answer before our next lesson.